It's about 108 days to the commencement of the 2023 elections. 108 days. Yes, uncertainty hangs over the fate of some governorship candidates. The high number of litigations trailing the conduct of the primaries by the All Progressive Congress, APC, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, is threatening the chances of the two parties to participate in the 11th of March 2023 governorship election. For instance, the primaries that produced the APC candidates in Adamawa and Taraba states have been nullified by courts, while those of the PDP in Ogun and Zamfara states have suffered the same fate. Tunde Abaton, there's a big crisis.
It is a crisis and it's not a crisis. If we have a very robust political system, this is an opportunity for the third force, that is the parties that comes after APC and PDP, to put their house in order and make sure that they teach these big parties a lesson. And what is the result? The essence is that the parties refuse to follow the rules of the game. If we believe that we can circumvent the rules of the party in producing delegates to the country, because most of this starts from delegate issue, because when the delegate list is tampered with, when you don't go through the normal process, the result is what you have. And mind you, in Zamfara state, that was why the APC almost lost that particular state, and the PDP lost. In Ogun state, it will appear as if the course in quote, that is PDP in Lagos state, is about to inflict Ogun state. Because now, 3 months to the election, they cannot say validate that they have a candidate, or because the party and the players within the party refuse to follow the rules of the game. I think for this thing, the lesson there is that, by and large, other parties put their acts together. Because until we teach the main parties a lesson, that when you present your candidate, now if PDP should present a candidate by November ending, it means they have less time to plan in Ogun State. It means the propensity to defeat the ruling party is diminishing, except, of course, you have another party. Because for now in Ogun State, those are the two dominant parties. In Zamfara State, the APC and PDP are also the two dominant parties. That's why I'm saying that there is need, it's a lesson for other lesser parties to begin to put their house in order. In as much as all these parties refuse to follow the rules of the game in producing their candidates, they allow other inducement, other factors that are not written within the party's constitution to allow. And it has been demonstrated by these two judgments that the judiciary is the saving grace for politicians who have been denied their right.
Okay. We'll quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more about the intra-party crisis. Please don't go away. Thank you for staying with us. This is Journalist Hangout. Before we went on break, Babajide, so the political parties, they had their internal mechanism for conducting the primaries, and they had appeal committees within these political parties, and yet most of these parties, they couldn't resolve the squabbles within their parties, and members ended up in courts.
Yes, because the reason for that is there's too much impunity. Too much impunity. People in the parties, the power people in the parties, believe that whatever happens, certain candidates must emerge. Candidates that they have interest in must emerge. And when you have that mindset, you do your best to rig the process. Now people cheated won't just fold their arms and be looking at you. Though you are in the same party, they will approach the courts. This is what is happening. Look at in Taraba State, one of the states mentioned where the APC have issues. Senator Buacha emerged as the candidate of the party. Those who lost approached the courts. The judge affirmed that, indeed, there was no primaries. One, the announcement of results happened at the airport. The judge's argument was that election did not take place in the airport. How come it's at the airport that you announce results? The election results from each of the 16 local governments was written, the results were written by just one person. It's the same handwriting passing through the result sheets in all the 16 local governments. So they just said, even if it is not possible for an individual to supervise the election in all 16 local government at the same time and write all the results. It is also not possible for all, if that was not the case, it's not also possible for all 16 electoral officers to have the same handwriting. So they were convinced that simply these people just wrote results. Senator Yusuf, representing Taraba Central. Apart from this case, he is also in court. He's in court in Abuja. His argument was that there was no primaries at all. So he will want the entire process nullified. If,
look at the time.
and his case will be decided on the 15th of this month. When that case is decided, if it does not favor the APC, it means everyone that contested or that emerged as candidates in the sham primaries will lose their opportunity. Look at what happened in Adamawa State. Ribadu went to court because the primaries that produced Binani, there was a clear case of overvoting. The number of delegates, the votes, votes cast exceeded the number of delegates. Now, how many people will see that and simply vote? You have lost an election. You will be angry that you lost an election. If you can see clearly that this was why you lost, that you were cheated, are you simply going to fold your arms? And the parties don't have this means of even resolving these issues. Because I was saying that how come they could not even convince Nuhu to say, look, this is a good chance. Shabinani is popular, no doubt about it. And it could well be the opportunity for a woman to win election in the far north. But Nuhu Ribadu went to court, and the court didn't even give them room for a rerun. In the case of Zamfara PDP, they gave them room for a rerun. Dawda Lawal emerged again. Then the guy went back to court. The thing was nullified again.
So,
it's a second annulment. After the fresh rerun was ordered and Dawda Lawal, the same person who won the first one, won again. They are saying, look, they did not meet the stipulations in the Electoral Act. And where our parties will prefer to simply handpick people and not allow the due process to happen, these things will keep happening. Even if INEC gives 1 year notice before election, 1 year for people to prepare for election, I'm telling you, there will still be last-minute litigations like this. 600 cases.
But big
and
distraction.
INEC is saying, how do we handle this kind of
Big
situation?
distraction for the umpire.
It's a distraction. You know, it was late Justice Tassim Elias who made a remark, I think in 1989, that the problem with Africa is that we have no room for democratic principles. We don't follow democratic principles. If you contest a primary now, and the primary is seen to be thorough by all parties concerned, then you wait till next year. But when umpire, like he said, when people in the party believe that they must impose, because it is about imposition,
yes, because
of personal interest of these stakeholders that is causing all this crisis. Yes, fortunately, the lawyers will continue to eat out of the system because people will go to court. But democracy will suffer. It will suffer because if at the end of the day, somebody who is unpopular is foisted on the populace, they will reject the party. That is why I said political parties should up their ante, especially those parties that are seen as tough force in each of the states. Because it will have proven that it is only in APC and PDP that all these things are happening.
In most cases, those ones are likely
to win. So
let
other parties like Labour Party and other parties too make sure that they follow due process. So that when this thing happens, in 2 months to the election, you present your own candidate, you have more time to campaign to the people and you get alternative force. Until this thing happens, this political party will continue to have their way. It's unfortunate.
Ayo was saying earlier that don't the parties have mechanism
of
for
resolving
issues
they have not
that
resolved
arise
anything.
from primaries and all that. They have appeal panels and all that. What happened in Adamawa State, PDP? Because their own case is in Supreme Court now. Nobody knows how the Supreme Court will judge the matter. Somebody was accused wrongly. Because all they wanted was for the governor, Fintiri, not to have any challenger.
At all.
They were working, the kind of what you call wuru to the answer. They were pushing to just ensure that there's no challenger to the governor. Now, you claim that somebody who challenged the governor did not pay his dues. The man produced evidence. You still went ahead to disqualify him. The appeal panel sat just to prove that, look, there can be appeal panel and these people not listen. Appeal panel sat and said, okay, allow this person to contest. The claim that he didn't have, he did not pay his dues has been found to be incorrect. Allow him to contest. The NWC of PDP still refused to allow the person to contest so that the governor can then win, unopposed. The guy went to court. The case is at Supreme Court now. Nobody knows what will happen. So we are even a party ignores its own structures for conflict resolution.
Use your incumbency advantage to make sure the person
that's what I don't understand. What is he afraid
No,
of?
it is imposition.